What's up, guys, and welcome back to Beyond the Void Horror Podcast. My name is Alex, and today we're going to be doing a spoiler-free review of a movie called Founders Day that played at the Toronto After Dark Film Festival. Let's get into it.
It's party time, yeah! These evil people have just got to be stopped.
It's Voidtober! So Founders Day is a movie that I saw. It's one of the few films that I was able to choose from that are on the virtual list because I'm not actually physically there at the Toronto After Dark Film Festival. But I was one of the ones that I wanted to check out because it had something different. And it was a red mask killer with a sort of like a wig, a colonial wig, and a gavel. So I was curious to see how this movie was going to sort of tackle that sort of socio-political angle and what it was going to be all about. This is, of course, a slasher film that takes place in a small town, much like many slashers, where a bunch of ominous killings start taking place in town, and you're leading up to this big mayoral race that's happening, and everybody's a suspect. Typical slasher fashion, you know, everybody dies and you don't know who it is. Everybody's acting weird. And yes, this is the type of movie we have here with Founders Day. Now, this wasn't extremely original or anything new here, but it was well shot. It's decent. Some of the acting or dialogue choices in this movie, or choices in general for the characters, seemed a little odd. Like, some of the things that they did just didn't really make a whole lot of sense for me. But, you know, and some of the acting was a little over the top. Like, this movie felt like it wanted to be Scream, but didn't try to push the comedic angle as much as I thought it would. So it does kind of play it straight, but some of the acting parts seem a little too much, you know, like there's a couple of moments where people are yelling at each other and it just doesn't make 100% sense. You know, there's kids dying from these families and these parents aren't acting really normal, typically because one of them is running for mayor, and of course they got to keep up appearances, and they care more about the mayoral race kind of thing, you know. That's in there, but this felt even more like out of place than normal. This movie is directed by Eric Blomquist, who has done other movies like She Came from the Woods, which is a much more cheekier, bloodier film. So I was kind of curious how that would play into this one. I think that some of the bloodier violence is in that movie more than it is in this one. Although this does have a fair amount of blood, but nothing like crazy. And a lot of the kills, while it's interesting to see being killed by a gavel, just didn't really do anything original or anything new to really kind of like make its mark. It just feels kind of like a regular old slasher that, you know, is a little bit more modern. It does have like the younger audience appeal, but also some of the older cast members. So, you know, it covers a wide swath of sort of a demographic. But yeah, I don't know. This wasn't a great slasher, but it's not a terrible watch. Like, you could sit down and watch this and have no problem with it. And just, if you're looking for a slasher film with a different type of slasher than you've normally seen. The end of this movie does get a little weird too, and some of the choices that are made in it, or acceptances, or things like that, and when we find out who the killers are, it is a little odd, but it is different. So, you know, but different doesn't always mean great, or original doesn't always mean amazing. You know, you can be original and not be the greatest idea, but, you know, overall, still, I think this is a pretty decent film. It's nothing that's like going to blow the doors open in the slasher genre, and it definitely feels a little bit more mainstreamy and kind of like your Scream fashion, with a lot less humor and a little bit more weirder acting and not so great kills. Like, there was some stuff in the film that I thought was unique and fun, but it just didn't really push it over to make it anything outstanding, you know? Like, there was some decent people in this. Like, one of the people that made me kind of curious about seeing this was Catherine Curtin, who is in this. She plays a sheriff in the movie, and she was in Werewolves Within, where she played a pretty funny part, and I was kind of hoping to see a little bit more silliness from her, but she does a really good job of playing the sheriff in this role. Some of the main cast that we get to see is played by Naomi Grace, who is this younger girl who, you know, she gets ensnarled in all these like killings around her, and she's she's trying to figure out who it is and why it is. And, you know, it kind of got a little annoying trying to figure that out in some ways. And yeah, it's supposed to be a mystery, you know, because that's what these things are. Who did it? You know, like who's responsible? And everybody's responsible. And it seems a little silly at times when they're trying to pin that on people. And I think that's where some of the overacting part came about, is that it just seemed a little too much. But the acting's tolerable and decent enough. It's just some of the choices they made were just kind of odd. But yeah, I don't know. This is not one that's going to be high on most people's or slasher fans' radar, but it might be on your radar. And if you're looking for something just for fun to check out with a gavel and a knife on it, hey, it ain't too bad. You know, it's not the best film I've seen all year, but it's not a terrible film. I'd probably give this one about a 6. Maybe a 6.5 out of 10. I wish it would have been better. I was kind of hoping it would, but it really didn't push through the boundaries. I would like to see what Eric does in the future as far as a filmmaker. I think there's talent there. Some movies just don't work 100%, but I would love to see what you guys think. Have you seen the trailer for this? I don't know exactly when this is coming out, but this did air at the Toronto After Dark Film Festival. And of course, thank you so much, Toronto After Dark Film Festival, for letting me be one of the people to review and watch this. I am trying to catch up on a couple more things from the festival and a short that I've been trying to do, but there has just been so much going on, guys. So bear with me. I got more on the way. Thank you for coming by. If you enjoyed this video, please hit the like and subscribe button. Big shout out to Zach Wam for the $10 super thanks. That's super cool, man. I'm not expecting that on these videos, you know. I try to get a little bit of income from some of the ad revenue, but that, you know, thank you so much for supporting the channel. I'm glad that you're enjoying the content. And it seems like we're getting a surge here, guys. So we beat 4,000 followers. So hopefully we can hit 5 by the end of the year here. So thank you so much for stopping by. And as always, long live the void.